I want to do something a little bit different. Now, as you know, every Wednesday I'll come out here and I always give you the State of the Union, right? Where are we exactly with Rhino? Where are we exactly with the development of Rhino Streets? Who are the new hires, the labor, the upcoming projects, the plans, et cetera, et cetera. Always because, it's because we all own Rhino Streets, it's really good to always get everyone's advice. Hey, always really good to get everyone's advice, because if Anthony is the only one that likes Rhino Street, that's a real problem, because they only made one Anthony, for better or for worse. So everyone's input is always valued. In fact, it's necessary, which is why I'm probably the most transparent person that's ever run a business ever in the history of the world, right? Now, the goal is no, it wasn't your phone. I think it was my service, which is really always fun because we spend so much money on service. What's actually quite funny about that is the fact that I just talked about all the things that we don't have. And how can we trust you, Anthony? You say things like you're going to change the world. And what is going on with the service? Hold on, let me see if I could get my computer on my hotspot. I've had internet all day, and it's only now. All right, let's try one more thing. Just bear with me, I'm sorry. I'd like to have the screen up and the conversation going. All right, so you know what? We have no internet on this computer, so let's do it old school, right? Like, I'm completely competent enough to stare at a screen and speak without seeing myself. Unfortunately for the chat, sorry. Oh, I wanted to put links into this. All right, eventually we'll get this working, right? Like, the show must go on. So anyways, and when we talk about, ooh, wait a second, I think we got something going on here. I'm so sorry, please stay with me. As much as you want to go ahead and do all the work, always something pops up, right? Like, in the midst of me planning this, webinar and getting myself prepared, I did not think for a second, oh darn, what if the internet goes down? What if there's no Wi-Fi, right? So it just goes to the point that you always got to just go with the punches. So let's reclaim host, okay, got it. Why don't you get out of here? Why don't you do this? You do this, you do this. Aha! And we're back. Thank you everyone for your, ooh, we actually have more people on. Usually when stuff like that happens, people leave, not Rhino, but in general. Anyway, yeah, totally cool. So when we go ahead and say something like that's when the world changes, it's not hyperbole, right? So we're going to walk you through what Rhino Street is. And for those that don't know, you'll be surprised, right? Because we do have a lot of new people on, plus all the people that have been some of the most avid supporters since day one. And I don't think they ever get tired of hearing what Rhino is or what Rhino Street is. Sorry. And then when we go ahead and take a walk through what Rhino Street actually is, then you'll come to the conclusion that, oh, that sounds quite good, only if it got into the right hands. Like, how do you, so in any type of funnel, right, or any type of action, you need to come up with the idea, you need to come up with the idea, you need to be able to plan the idea, you need to be able to execute the idea, and you need to be able to share the idea, and you need to be able to activate those you share it with so that they could share the idea. All of that is based on every preceding domino, right? So it needs to be a really good idea. You need to execute it really, really well. You need to be able to go ahead and share it really, really well. And if you could do all that, then you need to be able to understand how to activate the people you share it with so that they may go ahead and find it to be a good idea to then share it as well. Once you have all of that, you're able to change the world. It's just the sense that all of that's really difficult. Like, how do you go ahead and find the best idea ever? And if you do have the best idea, how would you ever go ahead and find the best way to execute it ever? And if you do that, how do you go ahead to find the best way to share it ever? And so forth and so forth and so forth. And that's what we're going to do. So I wrote a couple of things on the board before our webinar, and I wanted to kind of walk you through it. There's 8 points. And at least when I wrote it, I believed it to make sense. I wrote it, I haven't read it back. So I guess we'll kind of set ourselves up on a blind date together, right? So the question is, would you prefer your next purchase being from a Wall Street company or a local business? Would you prefer your next purchase to be from a Wall Street owned company or a local Main Street business? All things being equal, right? You could have the same product here or here. Who would you prefer to purchase it from? And I think that's a very obvious answer, right? So I'll continue. Now, what if it costs 10% more to purchase it from a local Main Street business because they hired local and the wages are a little higher and the supply from the local community is a bit different than drop shipping it from China? Would you still elect to purchase from that local Main Street business? And I think the answer is still yes, right? I don't think many social conscious or just good neighbors or nice, polite people in polite society would say, I'd rather spend $1 to buy it from this Wall Street company that's sourcing it from China than to pay $1.10 to buy it from my neighbor who hired my children, right? Like, I think everyone will pay that extra 10 cents. Now, what if you could do exactly that without changing anything you do? And the point of that question is, so to go ahead and purchase something from a local Main Street business versus a Wall Street company takes work, right? So like, say you want to go ahead and buy a toy. Now, how do you go ahead and search how do you search local businesses for that toy you're looking for? One might say, okay, well, go on Google and type in local businesses and type in toy, or put in your zip code, type in toy. Yeah, that's fine. But Google and all those other search engines are for-profit businesses, right? They're for-profit companies. Google is free to use if you're counting it in terms of what does it monetarily cost you? Like, do you have to take $5 out of your pocket? You don't. But you are the product. Nothing's free because whatever you search, Google's algorithms are so strong due to really dedicated servers. Like, they're very good at what they do. We will never say not to use Google, right? Like, that's not the argument we would ever make. It's such a good company. But Google is such a good company because they decided to scale the internet. They decided to say, we're going to put together a search algorithm that whatever you search, we're going to find the result for you, dismissive of where that result is located. And to go ahead and fund this, we're going to go ahead and sell shares to Wall Street, to investors, and we're going to go ahead and make a profit. To make a profit, we then have to sell your search results to companies that are looking to buy your search results. So for instance, if you're searching for toy, a company like Toys R Us or Walmart or Amazon, that search is worth a lot to them, because if they could go ahead and mobilize you to purchase from them, well, then they got your information, you made a purchase, they were able to wow you with the service. Now they're able to send you coupons and they're able to hopefully retain you as a lifetime customer. You being a lifetime customer of them is really good for them, and it's worth the amount of money they spent to buy your search results. So it makes sense. Nobody's saying this is like a mysterious business. And I'm not even going to go as far to say, oh my God, those criminals, they should be in jail. No, they run a good business. The challenge is in people not understanding the business that they run. People not understanding that your search results matter. The things that you search are as good as money, because when you go ahead and search something and those companies are able to intercept that search and go ahead and provide you with the search result, well, then you're not able to offer that search to your local businesses. By not being able to allow, like if I press 07728, I'm from Freehold, New Jersey, and I type in toy plus 07728, if the first result isn't like a local toy shop, and the first result is Amazon or Walmart or KB Toys or Toys R Us or whatever, and I know some of those companies are bankrupt, right? But like you get the point. Then I'm most likely going to look at the first search result, or the second search result, or the third search result, which means at that moment in time, I could have done one of two things. My money could have gone to the local community in terms of a purchase, which is investment into local community, because the full amount that I'm going to spend would stay in the local community, right? Like if I buy $10 worth of toys from a local toy shop, that $10 goes to the toy shop. That toy shop then uses that $10 to pay the labor, their employees, their suppliers, and the profit gets held by the business owner. That business owner then goes ahead and shops in the local community. That business owner is part of the local community. That business owner then allows that money to matriculate within the community. The what's it called? The multiplying effect of small business reinvestment via customer purchase from small business via Main Street is astronomical. But because I then decided to purchase it from Amazon or Facebook or whatever, where does my $10 go? The $10 goes to Amazon, right? Amazon then pays the amount of money to the supplier, which might be a third party, kid in his basement eating Doritos all day, right? Or whatever, right? Like there's some good people. But and let me take that back. There's a lot of people that make a business of using Amazon as a supplier in lieu of being able to do something else, right? They're very good at it, but it's in lieu of doing something else, because the margins by having your product purchased on Amazon is practically what, like 3%? So you go ahead and sell this product on Amazon. Amazon will pay you 3%, like, here you go, kid, good job. They collect the data, and then they, as Amazon, go ahead and retain the customer, because the customer comes back to Amazon. The customer does not come back to the person that sold it to him, like Mikey G that lives in like the basement in Dubuque, Iowa. They buy it back from Amazon, which is another supplier, So Amazon basically was able to aggregate all of the people in the world and allow them to be sellers on their marketplace. They're just a platform that hosts the marketplace, and they make all of the money because they go ahead and actually collect. So let me take that back. They don't pay you 3%. They pay you that if you're an affiliate. They collect 15% of the money you bring in. I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm lying again. I think it's 40% at this point. So for you to sell something on Amazon for $10, they go ahead and collect $4 of it. You keep the other $6, and that $6 then goes where? Sure, you live in a local community somewhere, right? Like you probably buy coffee somewhere, but that money is part of your business. Your business is to continue selling on Amazon. To continue doing that, you have to continue running ad spend to get those listings. So the money at that moment of time where the individual goes to the computer and says, I could buy from Tom's toy shop down the block, who I've known Tom, he was a teacher to my third grade son, right? Or buy it from Mikey G's garage. One allows my Main Street and local community to prosper. One goes ahead and gets taken from my local community and turns my local community into more desolate, right? Because I'm taking money out of the community. And by doing so, I'm sending money to Amazon, who collects the money from Mikey G. The money Amazon collects goes where? To the shareholders of the company, along with R&D and additional investment spend. That additional investment spend is to grow larger and larger and larger within all of the communities. So if they could make enough money to say, okay, we're taking 40% from you now, but now we're actually only taking 30% from you, more people come on Amazon. And instead of taking 30% from you, now we're going to take 20% from you. More people come on Amazon. So the more money Amazon makes, the less money they need to take from people, which means the more people come to Amazon. At the end, if you take that road to its natural end point, There is no more such thing as local business. It's just suppliers on platforms. And I guess you could say, well, Ant, it's the digital age. That's kind of cool. No, it's not, because then you're hostage to the platform. The platform, when you're only a data point, can say, we don't like you anymore. You're going against our policies. You're saying things we don't like. We're going to ban your account. Now, Amazon bans your account. What happens? Well, your whole entire income was from Amazon. Do you go to your local community and say, okay, I'm going to start a store here? No, your local community is pretty much washed away because of your efforts. Do you say, okay, whatever, I'll go to Facebook? Yeah, well, do you, like the casinos, if you get kicked out of Caesars and you get blackballed, right? You're in the black book from Caesars. Are you allowed to go to Harris? No, they share data. Hey, you've been kicked out of here for cheating. They don't like you. Well, they don't like you. They don't like you. They don't like you. It's funny when these companies hate unions, but they unionize themselves, right? Like, do you think it's a coincidence that Facebook and Google and Amazon all share the same opinions? They're obviously very different people, but they all say, this is the opinion that we need to keep to go ahead and make sure that our profits stay as high as possible by collecting all the subsidies through government via taxation, as well as not ever being attacked for anti-competitive, monopolistic tendencies. So for doing so, we need to make sure that all of our underlings do the same thing. So if you go ahead and speak up against one platform, you can get banned from all of them. Now, is that a world you want to live in? No, like that's an obvious answer. But what I described to you feels so far over your head that you're like, Anthony, I get it, but what do I do? I'm just like a grandmother living in Brooklyn. I'm just like a 17-year-old living in Idaho. I'm a single parent living in Pensacola, Florida, right? Well, that's what Rhino is. Like, Rhino did not go ahead and find that they're so wise because they were able to talk to you about what I just said. Me diagnosing the situation means nothing. Have you ever gone to a doctor where the doctor's like, well, your leg's broke, and you're like, okay, doc, what do I do? No, I don't actually know how to fix it. I could say it's broke. You would say to the doctor and say, what good are you? And it's funny because today's day and age, like what I just shared with you, obviously it's not written on a board, right? Like I just went through like 17 paragraphs. Today's day and age, I feel like people really believe that if they're able to eloquently diagnose a situation, that they're somehow a guru. No, give me the solution. I'm so sick of people telling me what's wrong and not telling me how to make a trade. And that is the differentiating factor between those that lead and those that follow. And not to say lead and follow are derogatory terms, right? Like I think we grew up with saying you're a follower, you're bad. Well, do you think Jesus thought his followers were bad, right? Like you being a follower equaling you are bad is only if you mindlessly follow somebody that did nothing to earn your fellowship. If you're able to identify, well, that person I trust, I know what they're doing, and I want to follow them because I know that I hold value into the ecosystem that they're creating. Well, that's a good fellowship, right? And to be a leader, you could be a complete like do-to-do leader. Don't get me wrong. Think about Jim Jones that led his whole flock to drink the Kool-Aid, right? Or think about any leader, whether it's Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson, that went ahead and killed a whole bunch of people. These are leaders, but they're not good leaders, right? Hitler was a leader. He's not a good leader. Putin is a leader. He's not a good leader, So the point is you could be a good follower, bad follower, or a good leader, or bad leader. So the idea is to find a way to put them together. So the sense that I'm able to diagnose a situation, and again, you have to be able to agree with me. If you think, Anthony, you're completely off your rocker, well then, I'm sorry. But I think you're off your rocker. No, just kidding. It's okay to disagree. I happen to think I'm right, and that's where that goes. Because I find it to be very counterintuitive to create a company on the assumption that I'm wrong. Like I'm always looking for where I could be wrong, and because I'm always looking for it and I don't find it, or I find it and I correct it, I don't believe I'm wrong in the bigger scheme of things because I'm actively always improving, right? So that's that. So, okay, so we're able to diagnose a situation. Okay, Anthony, I get it. If people went ahead and purchased from their own local main street, it would change the world. Okay, so I get it. When you say the sentence, you're going to change the world, I get it. If this actually happened, you would change the world. Okay, cool. But let's say I give that to you, Anthony. How are you from your office that doesn't even have service, right? Because we got kicked off a webinar. How are you going to be able to go ahead and convince and educate and mobilize everyone at the same exact time to all go purchase from their local businesses? Well, no pressure, right? Like, sorry, bye. Your legs broke. No. Well, what is the behavior people normally do, right? That's the most important part. What is the behavior people already do? So it's kind of like when you have a child, right? They wake up and you change their diaper. While changing their diaper, you have them for that moment and you could talk words to them and maybe they understand it, maybe not, right? And then when you go ahead and bring that child into the living room, you give them that child a bottle. For that moment in time, that child is going to watch whatever's on TV because their main objection is to drink that bottle. They are so hungry. So during that period of time, if you wanted to teach that child something, or if you want to change that child's behavior, wouldn't it behoove you to maybe put that curriculum or that content on the TV, since the child is going to watch the TV regardless? Yes. In fact, when your child is young and they like to eat candy, what did the vitamin companies come out with? Oh, well, we have vitamin gummies. It will trick your child. Or like when your dog has something and you need to give him a pill, what do? You put it in a piece of meat. The point is, if you're able to invent a solution and perfectly place it within a subject's normal behavior routine, then they will easily accept it, right? And on top of that, if you're able to go ahead and educate them that this change, this upgrade to their routine that will not change their routine at all is beneficial, like, hey, you've been eating a gummy your whole life for a vitamin. Simply go ahead and take the vitamin instead because now you're an adult and you don't need a gummy anymore. You could swallow it with water. Do that and you'll be healthy and live an additional 20 years. Wouldn't the person do it? Well, I know I take my vitamins every morning. I know I brush my teeth every morning. Why? Because it's part of my normal routine and I understand the benefits of it. If you said to me, Anthony, this toothpaste will make your teeth white, this toothpaste will just keep it the way it is. Like everything you're doing is fine. You got regular toothpaste, but this one's a super duper duper toothpaste. What would I do? Well, duh, I would use the super duper duper toothpaste. It changes my day zero. It's simply using this toothpaste rather than that toothpaste. Okay, so we're kind of getting to a solution here, but how do we go ahead and diagnose the challenge and then go ahead and create a solution and implant it as easily as changing your toothpaste? Well, let's roll back. Where was the moment in time that we discussed that actually is the moment of importance, the moment that you go ahead and decide what your purchasing behavior is? It's on the search engine, right? You go ahead and click in the search engine, and from that point forward, you're done. When you go on a for-profit search engine, a Wall Street-owned company, that's a for-profit company that's entitled and completely responsible to their shareholders, you, at that moment, whenever you click enter, everything forward is out of your control. Because you might say, well, Anthony, you know what? I'm just not going to buy anything that's a first or second result. I see it says ad, right? I'm just going to skip right by it. Oh, are you? Okay. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and said, I'm going to get the chicken? And then you walk in and the big, beautiful butcher block is there and they're slicing up the steaks, or it's hibachi place and they're throwing stuff in the air and you go, I mean, I was going to get the chicken, but like, seriously, they have filet mignon with the Chinese guy's head on fire with an egg in it, and he somehow got it out there, made a volcano. He's safe, I'm safe, and I have sake in my mouth by a little thing that you pulled down and it pissed, right? Like, you walk into a hibachi place. Did you expect any of that to happen? I know when I go to a hibachi place, I don't think a little rubber toy is going to pee in my mouth, sake, or they're going to throw an asparagus and it's going to bounce off my nose and I'll eventually catch into my mouth. But I do it because it's there. It's available. It's my impulse. When I check out of the supermarket and go on the line and I say, I'm not getting gum. I haven't had gum forever. And I'm sitting there and the person in front of me is taking forever because they have a coupon for everything. And I'm looking at the gum and I'm like, you know what? I'm here. Like, let me get a piece of gum. The point of the story is when you go ahead and use that Google search engine, the first and second ad, although despite your best and most noble intentions that you're not going to go ahead and click them, they do own a portion of your focus. they, whether you click them or not, garner your attention. Okay, the most super product you've ever seen. And you're like, I really wasn't going to do it, but come on, it says the most super. I've never seen it. I need to see it. And whether that gets you every time or gets you only some of the times, it's always in your face. Okay, so what's the solution, Anthony? You keep diagnosing a bazillion things, and then you went to hibachi. Now I'm hungry. Well, what if you just didn't use Google, right? Okay, I'll use Yahoo. No, they're still owned by Wall Street. I'll use MSN. No, they're still owned by Wall. I'll use Bank. No, they're okay, Anthony. What you're describing does not exist. But what if it did? Okay, stop asking me questions, Anthony. That is what Rhino Street is. Everything I just described to you, that's what Rhino Street is. Rhino Street lives on 3 principles. 1, we go ahead and ask permission for your location. 2, every single search result you will ever get will be within a 20-mile radius of your location, which equals a 40-mile diameter. And 3, there will never be a Wall Street company that's ever allowed to be a search result. So what does that actually equal? By definition, we've invented the first and only of its kind solution, really. In fact, there is not a thing on the planet that even comes close to equaling the value proposition of Rhino Street. And why do I say that? Because whenever you go ahead and look to purchase anything, you use a search engine. It is what you use. It is the toothpaste that you use every morning. So what are we saying? We're saying, well, we have a search engine. We invented a search engine that actually goes ahead and only considers local business. In fact, by definition, every search result is a local business because there is no search result that is over a 20-mile radius from you, and there is no Wall Street company that's allowed on it. In fact, to even take it a step further, all search results are opted in one by one. In fact, when they opt in, the form goes to me, and then I take a look at each one and then manually approve them. So everything that we're sharing with you is 100% guaranteed. And a lot of people say, well, Anthony, a 20-mile search radius, I want to reach more people. I want to reach more people. I want to reach more people. And I'm okay with that, right? There's products out there for you to reach more people. You could go. We like Google. I use Google every time I want to know a song there. Anytime I want to know the weather. Anytime I want to know how to make chicken pot pie, I use Google, right? But if I want to go ahead and search and say, you know what? I want to buy some toys. I want to buy some gifts. I want to buy some flowers. I want to find a dog groomer. I want to go ahead and go to a local pub. I want to go to a brewery. I'm going to use Rhino Street because I want to go ahead and participate and invest back into a community that I live in because it means a lot, right? So if you didn't find what you were looking for on Rhino Street, right? Because you might think to yourself, well, Anthony, that's kind of restrictive. You have to have people to opt in. It's only going to be 20 miles. How are you ever going to get everyone on it, right? There's probably going to be some steps along the way. So I get it. I'll use Rhino Street. Like I'm probably not going to find any results. But if I don't find the result I'm looking for, I'm going to use Google. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, just search your community first. Search families first. If I want to go ahead and find a particular product, I'd rather buy it from Denise's son, who's saving up to go to college, than to buy it from Mikey G, who drop shipped it. He's getting paid absolutely nothing. He's paying Amazon to go ahead and bring it in from China, who goes ahead and enslaves all of their people over there and allows them to live on $1 a month, right? Like there's a very, very clear choice of what I would prefer to do. This is what goes ahead and allows you to do it, and simply by changing the toothpaste. All right, Google now, rhinostreet.com, search. No, okay, google.com, search. To go ahead and accomplish all the moral and obligatory goals that we just shared, to simply go ahead and do what I just did, rhinostreet.com, boom. No, it's not there, Google, boom. I don't think I'm overly simplifying or overly dramatizing it. It is actually that short of time, right? So now what if others had this technology? Do you think Main Street would start to grow again? And I wrote that up there. So as you can see, I talk from the heart, but when I read something, I'm like, because I don't know how to put commas anywhere, apparently. But let's say everyone in your community use Rhino Street. Do you think your Main Street would start growing again? And this is the most fantastic part. So if everyone, or at least if a good amount, like say 10% of your, even 5%, say 5% of your community use Rhino Street, well, they would simply go, okay, shirts, okay, floors, okay, this. And those businesses that are within your community would then get those sales. Those businesses would receive the money to go ahead and pay their employees. Those businesses would have an excess of money due to profit. That profit would go back into the community when they go ahead and buy a coffee, or buy an additional house, or buy or pay more labor, or do an extension, or grow their business. All of the things they would do with that profit goes back to the community. Now, when those businesses grow their business, or when they or when they go ahead and reinvest the funds back into their own community, what happens to the tax receipts by your local municipalities? They go up. The additional tax receipts from the local municipalities go to where? The police, the firemen, the schools, the camps, the parks. Now your community is getting now your community is growing in a way that it increases the standard of living for everyone that's a part of it. You may say, like voting in an election, my vote doesn't count, my one purchase doesn't count. That's exactly the point of view that big business wants you to believe. They want you to believe that you are absolutely worthless. And you know what? They're right. You by yourself have absolutely zero economic impact on your community or on this world. They are right. You are worthless in terms of your economy. There, I said it. They are right. And they are really, really good at making you believe that. But if 5% of your community, let's say you have a 50,000 community, that's 2,500 people. If 10%, that's 5,000 people. If 5,000 people regularly, every day, prioritize their local community, let's say of those 5,000, each one makes one purchase a week, that's 5,000 new purchases coming to your Main Street. Do you think that's enough to go ahead and allow it to start growing again? And here's a better question. When your Main Street starts growing again and people see that their sales coming into the Main Street, does that allow others to go ahead and say, wow, I could start a business here because there are customers here? Do you understand the domino effect and how powerful that is? Because when your Main Street becomes financially free and they're not completely dependent on the government for subsidies and taxes and all the rest, they're able to vote with their heart. They're able to vote their mind. They're able to do what they want to do. They're able to speak freely. They're not hating their neighbor. They don't look at other people and say this, 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 because a lot of times you walk in a community that has a really bad block and you look down, no matter who's on that block, you're scared of them. That's not the way community is supposed to be, but it's the way that community is when you go ahead and siphon the money out of community. So if Rhino Street actually started becoming popular, or at least 5% popular, it would literally change the world overnight. It would be the greatest renaissance of Main Street Renaissance ever, right? It would increase the standard of living. It would lower the crime rate. It would lower the hunger rate. It would raise the education level because the municipalities would have more tax sheets to do those things with, right? So I'm actually on my 7th point. So I'm like kind of doing this because I did want to walk you through some taking action type stuff. So the 7th is, wouldn't you share this with others? Because if everyone did it, we see the greatest Main Street Renaissance ever. And that's also part of this, right? So I find that when people shame people into doing something, it's not right. Like, for instance, the 2016 elections, upon doing an autopsy of it, you could see Hillary lost, and you could opine why she lost, but some people, in fact, very credible people, in fact, I would agree with this, I thought she was going to win. But she ran a campaign of, I'm not saying to vote for me, I'm saying just don't vote for him. Look how bad he is, right? And by doing so, you really impassioned his supporters because she had no problem saying anyone that votes for him is deplorable. She made it very personal to them. So what she believed was, if I could shame enough people into not voting him, then I'll win. But what she never did was she never gave her people a reason to vote her. In fact, if you were a Hillary voter and someone said, why are you voting Hillary? Your first, second, and third reasons were, well, that guy would just end the world. And I don't think that's right. And the comparison that you could use is, well, the Democratic Party took on the mantra that if we could paint President Trump as Hitler, well, it then opens up everyone's, like, let me ask you a question. If I told you this guy's Hitler, is it okay to break the law to make sure that he doesn't succeed because of all the atrocities Hitler committed? And the answer is yes, right? So if you went ahead and what they tried to do is paint him as being someone so bad that everyone was now mobilized to do whatever it took to make sure he didn't get into office. And unfortunately, that carried over for the next 4 years because he pretty much lived in a courtroom the whole time. And I'm not talking about whether he's right or wrong. Like, this isn't politics. This is just talking about the election. And the thing is, well, the second question, is it okay to shame people into taking an action if you know it's to the benefit of them? Well, let's find out. If your best friend's drunk and they want to drive the car and you take the keys from them and they start yelling at you and you say, I don't care what you say, you're an FFFFF, you're never getting this. In fact, I'm never going to talk to you again, but you're going to thank me in the morning, right? And like whatever you say to go ahead and let them know. And then the next morning they do thank you. And then you go ahead and what do you always do? You lay it on them a little bit. Listen, you have kids. It's not okay what you were about to do. So it's not that we don't understand the power of shaming or obligating someone against or for something. It's just, it's not a tool that should be used all willy-nilly, right? Like you don't go to your girlfriend and say, everyone's doing this to their boyfriend, you should do it too. That's like bad shame. But if you go to your son, who's you found drunk at 17, and you knew that they drove home, you would say, others that are doing that are dying. Are you going to be, and then you list off the things of how shameful that was, right? So in respect, the point is everything that we shared with you liberates local community. Everything that we shared with you empowers. Everything that we shared with you actually goes ahead and frees the people that don't even know that they're being held hostage. So do I believe personally, and I'm taking myself out of it, right? But me as a third party, do I believe it's completely acceptable to look at someone and say, listen, I understand you don't know what Rhino Street is, but you really should be using it. In fact, it would help everyone if you use it. And in fact, it would help everyone if you use it and told other people about it. I need you to trust me on this. And I'll work with you. I'll teach it to you. But you really should be doing this. It's like when you see someone smoking a cigarette. Do you have any problem shaming them? Hey, I get you do it, but it's really disgusting, right? Or if you see someone litter out the car. Yeah, I get it. I'm not the cops, but it's really disgusting what you just did. How about if you see someone hit their dog or hit their kid? You actually step in. Don't ever do that again. Is it illegal? I know animal cruelty, right? But like a little pat on the bum, no one's going to jail for it. Is it illegal? No, but you have a moral and sensible obligation to go ahead and do something about it. So if we effectively create the technology to go ahead and empower and liberate community to the point that everyone's education and living standards would rise, crime and hunger would lower, and we were able to go ahead and actually regain some of the independence, because let me tell you something. Large businesses don't tell you that the top 1% own 90% of the wealth in this nation. The largest businesses don't tell you that the bottom 50% own only 2% of the assets in this nation. They're very okay with allowing that to go. In fact, they'll tell you what to do. So don't pretend like, oh, I don't want to be the one that's outspoken. No, they're better at it than you. They're very well educated, and they do it in a way that you don't even know is happening. Your ears, your brain is constantly under assault for influence, for mobilization, for persuasion, and you don't even know because they're so good at it. Now, do I believe that I need to go ahead and teach a whole bunch of people why that's happening? No, I just need for those that understand what we're doing to simply share with others. Yeah, I only use Rhino Street. No, I use Google afterwards if I can't find it, but by using Rhino Street, I'm able to take care of my community first. And I think that's what we should be doing. In fact, it's as instinctual, as prehistoric as cavemen. Everyone takes care of the community first. It's only now that people go to Amazon first because there is no alternative. There is no alternative. Tina, there is no alternative. Nothing like this exists, which is why we're doing it. In fact, I believe if given the option, every single person, if given the option, all things being equal, would you prefer your next purchase to be from Wall Street or your next purchase to be from local Main Street? Everyone would say that. I believe if even 10% more, 20% more, because that money's going to the local community in terms of labor, growing, and reinvestment, they would still purchase it from Main Street. So do I say we're going to get as big as Google? I don't want to scare people by saying I think we'll get bigger. So do I think we can at least compete? I don't want to scare people by saying yes. Do I think that we can at least get a 10% market share? I think that's feasible, right? A 10% market share of 10 billion searches a day is 1 billion searches a day, right? And what's bigger, Wall Street companies or the entire Main Street business? Yeah, Wall Street companies are larger in terms of assets, but how many more Main Street businesses are there than Wall Street companies? I'll tell you, the Fortune 500 has 500 companies. So you do the math from there. And I think I have one more. Now, what if every this is good. I don't need to read it because I know what it says. I wrote it, right? So this all sounds great. Okay. And so again, going back to the beginning in terms of having the idea, executing the idea, sharing the idea, and scaling the idea, well, you have to really perfect it and put it in people's interest, right? So a lot of times, everything that I just said will catch the fancy of most people and say, oh, I want to do that. I want to help. I want to do this. I want to do that, right? And that's fine. We love that. Unfortunately, anything that's that successful has a lot of money behind it too. And when people find out that their efforts, their helping is in fact making someone else rich, then all you really did was weaponize their morality. You weaponize their thoughts. You weaponize their heart for your own profit. So nobody's going to be happy that if they did all this good stuff, regardless of how good it is, that it went ahead and made you rich and you kept it all yourself. So unfortunately, that's the position I'm going to be in, unless I create a component of this that allows a profit share where everyone could become rich as well. So if you agree with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then here's the actual, here's the next step. And this is the type of live I've never done before because I don't like talking about the coin. In fact, anyone that knows me knows I just don't want to do it because this platform isn't a get rich quick scheme. And although you will get rich quick, it's not the point of this. You see, when you have a good idea, when you have a way to execute it, you have no interest in convincing people, oh, I'll get you rich. The money's there. I have enough money to do everything that we need to do. But we also want to go ahead and reach out a hand and say to everyone, if you believe what we're doing, we want to allow you to participate on an economic level as well. So what the coin is, our team is, as we speak, coding our currency. It's a cryptocurrency, right? Digital token. And I know those terms are taboo because every token is a complete scam. They have nothing behind them. But it's a way of creating a currency, right? So let's just put that out there. Now, before you go ahead and say, oh, it's a crypto coin, blah, 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 I'm out of here. Why don't you listen to how it's actually made and how it actually works, right? So Rhino Street, I think we agree. If you're still here, you probably agree. Okay, this is a good idea. People go on, they purchase things from local business. Everyone's happy. They sing Kumbaya. And Mike's son, Mike, because he named his son Mike, and Kevin's daughter, Kimberly, get married and everyone lives happily ever after. In fact, there's probably little rhinos at the wedding. I know there's going to be a rhino. Oh, I'm already married. There'll be a rhino somewhere in my life. I got it. Okay. Cool. So if we're able to take a look at it, what we do know for certain is the success of the platform is completely parallel with the purchases on the platform, right? Like this platform cannot be successful if people don't use the search engine to make purchases, because then what are we doing? There's no reinvestment, there's no nothing. Therefore, if you believe the platform is going to be successful, you have to also believe that purchases are going to be made. Now that's where the coin comes in. So a purchase by default is I have shirts, right? I have $100 in shirts. You buy $100 worth of shirts from me. You give me $100. I have your $100. I put the $100 in my bank account. Kumbaya, I give you the shirts. Everyone goes happy. Apparently, I love Kumbaya. I think I need to go camping. I didn't go camping as a child. See how fast I'm talking? Let's go. Okay. Now, what if instead we were able to go ahead, like the toothpaste, and inject our coin into that transaction? So I have shirts. You have $100. Let's try again. You want to buy $100 shirts from me. You give me your $100. I collect your $100. But the software in our payment system then takes that $100 and automatically purchases $100 worth of the coin. And our software automatically allows you to pre-code it to redeem X percentage of that coin. Therefore, you could say, well, Ant, I love you. I love the idea, and I really want to be a part of it, but I also have rent, and I like dollars. So yeah, you could do this, but I want 100% of my dollars right back. Okay, great. Redeem 100%, right? So let's play that out. I have shirts, you have $100, you give me $100, I give you $100 in shirts. The $100 then goes to coin. The coin then goes, the $100 gets to purchase the coin. Then automatically the coin's back redeemed into $100 and everyone's happy. You have your $100. I have $100, you have the shirts, everyone's happy. Cool, all right. So, if you buy $100 of coin and then sell $100 of coin, like what did you really do? It's bought and sold. It means nothing. I understand if you buy something, it goes up, but I also understand if you sell something, it goes down. Yes. But in terms of markets and in terms of finance, and in terms of value, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be in a market that has 100 people, or would you rather be in a market that has 1 billion people? And the question is about liquidity. So what you'll notice about all the cryptos out there is like they're pump and dumps, right? Like it goes really, really high because everyone buys it. And then once people start selling it, it crashes down. And that's because there's no liquidity to it. There's not the participants in it. Meaning every purchase of a coin, even subsequent sale of the coin, equals volume, equals transactions, which means you can then calculate the growth of the platform equals the transaction volume, because every transaction equals a buy and sell of the coin. So if you're able to go ahead and identify and actually able to calculate the growth of the platform by a real metric, volume, then you always know if the platform is growing or if the platform is decreasing. On top of that, you know, no matter what, if you buy coin as an investment or if you sell coin, the liquidity is there because there's transactions going on nonstop all the time. You don't have to worry about, I have 1 million coin. What am I going to do with this? I can't sell this because I'll crash it. No, you can sell it anytime you want because the liquidity is there. So if the liquidity continues to go higher, well, what happens to the value of the coin then? The value of the coin goes up. Now, to go ahead and actually predict the value of a coin, I'm going to turn to some of our public documents. So we're going to do a bit of a share screen and I'll walk you through it. And by the end of this, and I will take only 10 minutes of your time, it's 2:50. I want it to be done by 3 for my benefit and for yours, because I know some people go back to work at 3 and they take this hour to have lunch. Thank you for that, by the way. If I keep talking, you get the point. So let's go. All right, so let's do this. Let me move this over here. This is our Rhino Street commercial. Everyone has seen it. Okay. So this is rhinostreet.com. Now, I would like to say the updated version should be pushed live today, hopefully. And it is different and it's beautiful. Well, it's not different. Like it's this, but this is very, very much highlighted. There's an arrow that goes to it. You're going to have options: become a search result, list your business, become a business. And there'll be the link to our live webinar. And this is going to become functional. Well, actually, I'll get it to you, right? So anyway, so as of now, rhinostreet.com is this page. If you click Rhino, you'll come to our other site, distributivemarketing.com. Now, distributive marketing, just in case you're like, hey, Ant, I've never heard of this before, watch this. Google.com. Distribute. That's so funny. No, distribute. Oh. I was looking down because I'm like, where are we? We're always first. Boom, right? So, and then when you, because just to share why I did that, we're number 1 on all the search engines because there's that much traffic that comes. So if you say, well, Google's a good company, they know what they're doing, we're their number 1 search result, right? So when you click it, there you are, right? So let's go back to it. These are 3 of our favorites, and they volunteered their photos to be on our new refresh, which this is. We have charity, we have coin, which we're going to go to, and this stuff is all being reworked. But let me just, for the point of this conversation, get your Rhino coin. Now, Rhino coin is a bit of an explanation here, but if you understand what I just said to you, you already got it. Now, you could get the coin, you could gift the coin, but for our purposes, what I would like to show you is view balance sheet and view ledger. So first, let's view ledger. Now, because we are a public ledger, there is nothing left to mystery. You will always know who owns what amount of coin. So for instance, these are the amount of coins. Now, what you'll notice is every month is 50 more than the prior month in lieu, well, plus whatever the individual purchase. So by being part of Rhino, we give you 50 coin every month, going back to what we said before. We want everyone to participate in what's about to happen. It's for those that would like to participate a little bit more and say, I see what's going on here, and I want to be a part of it in a very big way. Those people are allowed to purchase coin. So you get 50 for free. And as you scroll down, you'll see that the people that have joined Rhino are a lot. So I want to share that we finally crossed over 1,000. And when I say finally, it's in lieu of doing any type of marketing. Everyone knows you've never seen a Facebook ad for, Rhino. I think we're at 1,011. So these are all the individuals that own coin. So you're in good hands. Nobody's owning coin and thinking they're the only one that owns it. Now, viewing the balance sheets is where we're going with this. So what you'll see is that every yellow data line is, everything yellow is a week we've already completed, and green is the week that we're currently on. So what you'll very quickly, well, let me do the headings first. So this is a calendar week. This is the high number of views count for the month, for the week. So say one day on week one, on one of the days we had 83 views. That was the high of the week, right? So we calculated, we reported it there. Webinar registrants, the webinar that you're on right now, this line tells you how many people registered to be on it with you. This is the number of Rhino platform members. This is defined as anyone that's been on a webinar and or anyone that's purchased coin and or anyone that's in our partnership program. Number of Rhino marketplace businesses. How many businesses are currently in our search results? Now, projected annual Rhino marketplace revenue. We estimate that each, and again, these numbers are silly small. We're just trying to be conservative, right? We estimate that every business only does $150 worth of business a week, which equals $7,800 a year. So when you take the amount of businesses we have times $7,800 a year, you get to the projected annual Rhino marketplace revenues. This is the number that's by consequence should be the amount of money that is in the transactions of the coin. So obviously this number, the bigger it gets, the better, right? Total Rhino platform weekly transactions. So that's simply the 150 week times the number of businesses, and this gives you how much is being traded in a week. And again, we put these numbers because those that don't know, my background's on Wall Street. I know how to create something that goes up in value. I've been in many boardrooms, many IPO. I'm basically taking everything I learned and I'm saying, you guys can kick rocks. I want to be over here. So they don't like me that much. This is the amount of coin owned by the Rhino members. This is calculated as 50 million that Rhino reserves for itself because we have to hire employees, bonus, incentives, et cetera, et cetera. And we have investors that own Rhino. So that's where that 50 million goes. And then everything on top of 50 million is the amount of coin that's been earned by members. And I don't want to say free because nothing's free in life. You have to be a member to earn it. But you earn 50 coin per month. So this number always goes higher as we grow. This is the number, amount purchased by Rhino platform members. This is considered investors. Anyone that went ahead and purchased coin in excess of the free 50 they collect a month is this number. This is the literal value. So this weekly transaction volume divided by the 1 billion supply. The supply will only ever be 1 billion. This is the demand ratio. How much coin is needed to go ahead and fulfill that weekly supply. So this quite literally 0.006% week one, right? Like that's very low. 3 month projected, 3 month projected growth rate. This is a projected transactional volume 3 months in the future divided by the current transactional volume. And this is the projected market value per Rhino coin. This is the weekly transactional volume, and I know this will go over your head, but please try to stay with me. Weekly transactional volume divided by total Rhino coin supply of 1 billion, which will never go higher than that. Then that's multiplied by the projected demand ratio, which we just spoke about, plus which equals the Rhino coin monthly member disbursement trend So how much coin is being purchased every single month, plus the Rhino coin weekly purchase trend, which is the amount of coin purchased by investors, which is then divided by total supply. Then that's multiplied by the 3-month growth rate. I know that sounded like complete craziness. The point that's important is that we actually not only record every one of those statistics, but every one of these lines is calculated versus the line before it. So what's important is this equals this equals this equals this equals this and so forth. And this whole line then equals this, which then equals this, which equals this, which meaning it's a living, breathing amoeba. Everything that's done affects what the value of the coin is. So as of right now, the coin's 5 cents because this year is a managed market. So January was 2 cents, February was 3 cents, March it was 4 cents, April it's 5 cents, and 1 cent every month, therefore, until January 2023, when we go live and release the coin to freely trade on the marketplace, which, so you'll see all the projections. So as of right now, actually as of today, 9,603 people visited our website, 808 people are registered for the webinar you're on right now, 1,012 people are members of the platform. There's only 60 businesses, and as you can see, 60 stated stagnant because this is not something we're growing at the moment, and I'll show you why. 468,000 is an annual projected revenue, and you can see all the numbers. Here's where it gets exciting. January 25th, we pressed the button. Now, between now and January 25th, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. We now have 425 subdomains that are all owned by Rhino. So nyc.rhinostreet.com, houston.rhinostreet.com, boston.rhinostreet.com. All of these meet one of two criteria. Either the population is 50,000 or higher, or the unemployment rate is 7% or higher. And some it's actually both, because highly urbanized areas have a high unemployment rate for whatever reasons, right? We are then collecting 2,500 emails for each one of those 425 subdomains, those subcategories. Those 2,500 emails are local municipality offices, local law enforcement, local service clubs like YMCA, Moses Against Drug Driving, Habitats for Humanity, local health clinics, jobless boards, hiring boards, and then via Instagram, all of the influencers in the area. And then the balance, because that's not going to equal 2,500, the balance is just people of importance, right? Like this person posted here or whatever, just people that are visible. Those 2,500 are all going to be coded exactly who they are, right? This is the mayor, this is the fire chief, this is the police officer, in which case every one of those people are going to get an email when we press the button simultaneously. That equals 1,062,500 emails. Now, mind you, we're also going to have Sirius satellite ads, Pandora ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Etsy ads, LinkedIn ads, and Pinterest ads, right? So all of that happens on this date. So realistically, we're looking at close to 20 million impressions, people that saw what we're doing. Now, bring yourself back to everything we shared going forward or thus far. Does it all make sense to you? Does it sound like a good idea? Does it empower you? And does it have do you have an economic interest to be a part of it via the coin or via just contributing? And the answers are all yes. So between now and then, we're building out all the stuff. So just to give you an idea, say someone lives in Pensacola, Florida, right? So we're sending them an email, hi, first name, last name of this company. We have something that might really interest you, and we're going to have a couple of paragraphs of what we are, right? So we're going to allow that email to really speak volumes. If you're interested in seeing what we're doing in your community and how you could be a superhero to your neighbors, click here. Now that click here is not going to be click here with a hyperlink behind it. It's going to say pensacola.rhinostreet.com. Any person that cares about their community at all is going to say, there's a website with our, like my city's, this guy owns my city's name. I'm clicking it. Upon them clicking it, they come to our subdomain lander. What that is we're going to have our commercial right in the middle, and there's 16 photos around the perimeter of that subdomain that are all taken off of Instagram, Facebook, Pensacola.gov, and all unique, beautiful photos that celebrate their community. And I'm not talking about celebrate the community as in nyc.rhinostreet.com is going to have a picture of the Empire State Building. No, I want a picture of the food truck guy with his everyday customer smiling. I want a picture of a pregnant, of an expecting mother holding her belly next to her husband and child, right? I want a picture of the sous chef calling out orders and handing it to the waiters while a full restaurant is waiting. I want to celebrate their community. I want them to know that I care about them. And that sub-lander page is going to redirect to rhinostreet.com, which I showed you the page and I explained how it's going to be even better after a minute 22 when the commercial is over. And let me just show you something real quick. So that Rhino Street page, there's a big green arrow and this is all highlighted. Learn how Rhino Street works. Now I have to go ahead and remake the video because I need to have the video speak to everyone that's coming in. This video right here is just a generalized who we are, 3 minutes long, but knowing who the people coming to it is and how important they all are, I need to make it, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, this is how you can get active, right? And then they're gonna list their businesses. It gives them the option to suggest other people that they like. It's gonna be a wild place where everyone could freely go ahead and express and share and contribute and mobilize and be a part of it with everyone. It's going to be so amazing. So all that being said, and we have a corporate account with Salesforce, not to get into the numbers, but it's a 6-figure account. And we went ahead and even paid 5 figures to bring on an agency that's going to hold our hand step by step. The point being, every single person we send an email to is going to have their actions taken into account, right? So this person clicked this, but they didn't click that, but they're located here, but they did this, they opened it at this time, blah, 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 but they went to this page, they stalled on it for this amount. All of that will be known because that's going to be the retargeting effect. So every single person is going to be highly, highly nurtured and taken care of to be a part of this. Our message will get out to every single one of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a nice way. In a let's go out for dinner way, not let's go back to my house type of way. And when that happens, so I said 3 o'clock, give me till 3:15, please. Or if you may, like I'm not telling you to, but I would appreciate it. Okay, so the point is when it gets to launch week, 1%, I think it's 1%, yeah, 1% of 1,062,500 emails. Now, mind you, this doesn't calculate any ads, which we're going to have abundant of. This does not calculate any retargeting, which we paid 6 figures to do, right? This only calculates the initial email. 1% of it, if 1% join our live, opt into being a member. Oh, I forgot them. We also have a mobile app, which is going to go live in 3 weeks. I forgot that part. It might actually be the most important part. It's complete Instagram inspired. So if Instagram and I don't know, Instagram and some business, Instagram and the Small Business Administration had a baby, that's what it is. I love that we're doing so much that I completely forgot that we have a mobile app. Anyway, 3 weeks. So if they just go ahead and sign into the mobile app, if they just go ahead and sign into a live, if they just go in and say, okay, I don't know what this is, but I'll take the free 50 coin, what have you. That's 21,250. Let's see, what's this? 7.7% of that, which is the number that we see as businesses that have been converting, which actually is going to be much higher because we're now asking for them to give us businesses as well. I don't have a business, but my best friend owns Mike's Pizza Shop. You should put him on. Hey, Mike, I just got you new traffic. Great, thanks, right? So this number will be much higher, but let's say it's 1,636, just 7.7%. That means you have an annualized 12, almost 13 million running through the platform in a given year, which is almost $250,000 per month, no, per week. This is the amount of coin that will be owned by people. This is the amount of coin that will be owned by investors, and still only 7 cents a coin because it's in that month. 2 things. One, I'm going to show you how it grows from there, right? Because we have all projections. And projections are not just like Anthony got a crayon and wrote it somewhere. Our projections are exactly the numbers that we've been seeing, right? So We're just extrapolating, not projecting. There is a difference. Two things. One, I don't think it's going to be 7-8 cents any longer at this point. Once we go ahead and get it out there, we're probably going to move a little quicker to opening the exchange. And two, as you project forward, so you project a 15% gain week over week, you project that to stay at 7.5% of the businesses, and all these numbers are calculated based on that. What it gets you is when we go ahead and hit our go live date, January 2023, well, first of all, we're projected to be out of coin week 54. We started back in December. Week 60 is January 2023, so week 54 is somewhere in November. We're projected to be out of coin. There's no more coin. So when you say, Anthony, it's $1 billion, we're not even gonna have enough coin to continue giving away for free by the time we actually go live. It'll be gone. So when that happens, right? So the projected coin value January 2023 is $5.72. The projected coin value January 2024 is $46,338. And like I've said all along, we're going to be what Bitcoin only dreamt of being, because no one uses Bitcoin. You own Bitcoin as a store of value, a hedge against inflation. This is going to be something in the future that's whatever. How does our coin get used, right? Like, ask yourself that. The coin is used because people actually buy it. Every transaction on the platform actually buys the coin, which means this amount of money, this 109 billion that will most likely go through the platform by the end of next year, is money that actually is getting transacted every single day. It's not just a hocus pocus number. This 2 billion per week is numbers that actually go through the platform. And this only calculates the United States, right? What about when we grow to Canada and to Mexico and to Europe and to Asia and to Africa and South America? Do you think that they would not like to be a part of a small business platform? What we know is search engines work, right? Does anyone disagree with that? And what are we doing? We're switching toothpaste. All we're saying is, yeah, no one's telling you to stop using Google, but the benefits to your local community by using Rhino Street first far outweigh. It's like putting a seatbelt on. Yeah, you might not get into an accident, but the benefits of a seatbelt are so out of control beneficial to you versus not having a seatbelt, right? It's a zero-sum game. It's like being on the flying trapeze with a safety net. Yeah, you may never fall off it, but the benefits of having it versus not having it are night and day. The benefits of using Rhino Street first are night and day. When you could go ahead and actually be the steward, the leader of your community, and to bring a standard of living that is unbeknownst to anyone, to your future generations, I would actually sit there and obligate you to. I would not shame you. I wouldn't shame anyone, but I would say, can you give me, how about you turn the question around? Why wouldn't you use Rhino Street? Well, it takes an extra second. So your community is not worth an extra second. Why wouldn't you use Rhino Street? And actually on top of it, just something else I didn't mention, if you search a term that does not have a result, it's not that no results come up. There's a page that comes up and says, that's a really great idea. Unfortunately, we don't have that search result in your community. A, do you know that search result? And you could recommend that we give them a call to welcome them on. Or B, would you like to become this search result? In which case you could open the business and we'll put you on. So it's not like, oh, well, I go on Rhino Street and I get no results. In fact, one could say if you were looking to start a business, there's not a better place in the entire world to start a business. So there is no reason not to use it. But easier said than done. We have to go ahead and put out a marketing approach that allows everyone to say, why not Rhino Street? In fact, I've never said that before. I'm writing that down because I'd rather put it on someone else to tell me why not to use it than rather me list all the reasons why to it. Why wouldn't you use Rhino Street? Why not Rhino Street? Why not you? That sounds great. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to the point of this before I pat myself on the back anymore. But that's why we have these lives. I like getting feedback. All right. So to get the coin, let me do a chat. So everyone, So I'm taking this link and I'm posting it into the chat. If you'll simply stay with me, I'm going to take a drink of water while you go to this, please. All right. So what you can see here very clearly is the price of the coin. It's etched in stone. It's like Moses came down with the tabernacles himself. Was it Moses? Yeah, Moses. Yeah. Came down with the tabernacles himself. January is 2 cents. February is 3 cents. There is no room for interpretation. If you buy it in this month, this is the price, right? Cool. So we do the pricing in $100 increments for a couple of reasons. One, if you could only afford $10, we do not want to go ahead and collect your last $10, right? There is a certain level of fiduciary responsibility on my behalf to not go ahead and just take money because people are willing to give it to me. And mind you, actually, as a corollary to that, the money doesn't go to me. The money goes to Rhino. The money that comes in then funds the platform's growth. So if you said, you know what, I want to buy $1 million worth, you essentially would be guaranteeing the outcome we speak of because you would be funding it yourself, which means $1 million you spent today would go up 50 times in a year. So this is kind of, this platform is so revolutionary, such a good idea. We already have the technology and so infant that one with money could actually go ahead and, I don't want to say guarantee, but really set themselves up for a very good return. So that's this. So it's in $100 increments. So let's see, it's now April, and it's April 27th, right? That's why I'm doing this today, because next month is only is 3 days away. And then June is the press the button. And July, really, I can't promise anymore that the coin will still be available. In July, we might go ahead, goes up 12 times a year. Yeah, 1 cent every month. In July, we might really switch to our app and allow the free market to be open, which means all these prices are likely gone because at that point it'll be $2, $3 because the market will, again, the market never needs to guess what it is. We post all the transactional data. So anyone could say, oh, what's the price of the coin? Oh, I'm on the ledger. Oh, it's calculated as this. The price of the coin is calculated as 250 and it's currently 225. I'll buy it. The price of the coin is 250 and it's currently trading at 275. Well, I'm not really looking to invest that long. I'll sell it here because it might come down a little bit. We're taking the mystery out of investing. We're going to tell you the price of the coin and then you do what you want with that data, right? So, which actually is like kind of like the most honest thing that's ever been done. But anyway, so let's do it, right? You want to own $1,000, right? All right, and I'll start with 1,000. It's something I could scrape together. So 1,000 is 10 quantity of 100. 10 times 100 equals 1,000, right? So you go to purchase. And upon clicking purchase, well, that says 20 because I did 10 last week. Make sure the numbers are correct. 10 times 100 equals 1,000. Subtotal 1,000. Go to checkout. So when you get to checkout, you'll see this form. Now, for your comfort, this is via Stripe. Stripe is the largest payment system on the planet. They're not a public company, so I can't really say that with like 100% certainty, but I know that their private market value is 100 billion. And I think the next closest is Stripe at like 30, Square at 30 billion. Or PayPal, I think PayPal cracked under 100 billion. The point is they're a behemoth, right? So this isn't AnthonySendMoney.com, okay? So you put in your shipping details, which is a little funny because it's not being shipped to you, but we also sell merchandise that goes to charity. So the shipping details are relevant for that. In fact, once you put in your shipping details, you'll then go to delivery method, which is actually quite funny as well, because they'll ask you, do you want regular delivery or expedited delivery? But this is coin. You're going to receive a certificate via email. So there is no delivery time. There is no, well, this is going to correlate to your bank account info because you have to pay for it, right? But the delivery time is instant. So you know what? I'll put it on me. Put expedited delivery, I'll pay for it, right? And then payment, which will just be your card information, however you want to do it. Now, upon completing this, you will get 2 emails, one from Rhino, welcome, to the coin, one from Stripe, which will be a confirmation of your invoice. And then the first of every month, you will be emailed a Rhino certificate. Now, this Rhino certificate of ownership, has our seal, has your name, has the amount of coin you own, has my signature, and has the price of the coin. This will come the first of every single month because no matter what, you will always have 50 more every single month. Plus, maybe you purchase, maybe you sell, and it allows you to go ahead and keep track of it. If, God forbid, you lose it, which is just in your email, I don't know how you would lose it, but let's say you do, this is all coming from us. We have the ledger. We have everything in place. The way you're going to receive this coin, which, by the way, is not really named Rhino coin. If we gave you the name, somebody would knock it off, so we're not doing that. But Rhino coin. And in fact, there actually is a Rhino coin that exists. It's to the benefit of the rhinos. So if you want to buy it, I'm not saying not to, but it's not this coin. But when we go ahead and actually launch our payment system and our coin system and our wallet system, we're going to send you an email invite. Hey, Brooke, you have 178,000 coin waiting for you. Please click and sign up to redeem your coin. So once you go ahead and actually get on once the platform's actually built out, everyone's coin is sent to them so that we don't have to worry about, first of all, legality, because if the laws change by then, we could change accordingly. Security, there's no one that's able to hijack your coin because coin doesn't exist. It's not even created yet. This is just your certificate that you will own it. It's just all in all a responsible way of doing things. So that's that, right? So that's all I have for everyone. Let me go ahead and take a look at the questions and then we'll get going. All right, let me go always back. We have a very active crowd today. What's this 4% thing? Our meeting is 4% was canceled. So that's something different. I don't really know how to answer that 4%. Brooke, school isn't that good anymore, especially when finding current information. Cheers. And I agree with you. See, here's the thing. At some point to scale, there's a limit to scaling because there's not a limit to software, but there's a limit to human capacity. So even though software will go ahead and continually grow, the human capacity to learn what to do with that new growth is limited because we're only humans. AI will always go faster than the human brain. The point being, you can get to a point in technology that it will grow in the future when the humans learn how to continually nurture it. So to Brooks's point about Google, yeah, it's great. In fact, I think it's the best product out there. But in terms of continually wowing you at the same rate it used to, probably not so much. Yes, it's extremely powerful. Goes up, yeah. Anthony, can everyone see everyone else's name on the ledger? Is that public? Yes. Oh, so everyone can see everyone's given first name. You cannot see people's last name and you cannot see their emails. That's proprietary secure data that we hold. So for instance, we have many people that say, all right, put my name as A, put my name as PT, put my name as Cookie, put my name as whatever. So what you can see on the ledger is the person's given first name, and anyone that wants to change their first name because they're like, hey, I don't want Candy to be on it, you just simply email me and I'll do that for you. So that's that. Hi, Anthony, I bought coin in December. Should I buy more now? And so this is always difficult, right? So I can't tell you what to do because I do not want to get into the legality of suggestion or recommending an investment because I'm not licensed to do that. And this nation has very strict laws with that. That being said, my entire net worth is in Rhino coin. If I did not own Rhino coin, I would buy my entire net worth today. But that's me. Now, two things. A, I have the disadvantage of being completely biased, right? I believe in what I'm doing. But B, I have the total advantage of knowing all the steps in front of us. So I don't know if those cancel out or if you go ahead and prioritize one over the other. But A, my entire net worth is in Rhino coin, so I believe it's more than I could possibly put into words. And B, if I didn't own it, I would do that today. Whatever you take from that is completely your own opinion. Let me just put that site up one last time because it is important to purchase the coin. And I say that because it goes up in 3 days. But more so than that, after we press the button in June, two things are going to happen. Either A, we go ahead and create the, and go ahead and make it live so that everyone has an open market. We register with Binance and Coinbase, et cetera. Or B, anyone that sees what just happened will buy all of the coin. Because if you can calculate, oh my God, they got 70,000 new users in the first week and this many new business, because it's not a secret, we post it every day. So if that were the case, and you can calculate that the coin's gonna be worth $10 in January, or the second it goes to a free market, but you could buy it for 7 cents at that moment, anyone would go to the bank, take out a loan and buy it all. And I can't stop anyone from doing that, right? So the reason I'm doing this live today, and I will send the replay out to everyone, and I am actually hammering it a little bit, is because you have 3 days till it goes up 20%. So you'd probably rather do it today. But more importantly, you only have 2 months left of guaranteed ability to purchase the coin at reasonable prices. Because when this goes to 1, 5, 10, 15, you're going to look back and say, I didn't buy it at 5 cents. What was wrong with me? Like, seriously, that was the life changer. Now, mind you, you will have coin because I'm giving you coin, because I believe everyone should participate, but in a very, very serious way. And I don't think I've ever really been this serious. You should. And I'm not talking to any one person. That's not a recommendation. I'm talking to myself. If I was talking to me, I would say you should. And I'm making that a blanket statement to everyone in the world, right? Also, the value of the coin depends on businesses on the platform. The value of the coin is dependent on the transactions on the platform. Now, to be a business on the platform, and another part that I didn't share, because again, there's so much going on, which isn't an excuse, but it's a reason. You can list your own business, right? If you have a business, you could list it. You could suggest a business. So I don't have a business, or I do have a business, but I want to help out one of my friends and get him on Rhino Street. Or you can open a business. That link, we are creating 40 individual proprietary Rhino Street tutorials, e-learning courses, with a complete SBA course and then a 10-step how to open this business. And when you go ahead and graduate those 10 steps, you're going to get a Rhino Street certificate, which is like a diploma. That diploma, once you actually open the business, allows you to be the #1 result on in your locality for an entire week. So we will always reserve the right of the #1 result, because we want to incentivize people opening up businesses, because everyone's a business owner, whether you're selling your labor to an employer or whether you're simply owning a business to help others or to sell to customers, right? So for someone that's never opened a business or doesn't know how to, or blah, 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 we're going to give you a list of businesses you could choose from. We're making complete e-learning courses that are free. I'm not charging anyone for anything, that allows you to actually go through the steps to open the business. And then upon opening the business, we're giving you the guarantee that you will be the #1 result in your entire community for the entire week. Meaning we're giving you education, we're giving you ability, we're giving you a platform, and we're giving you traffic, because we'll also email for you as well. So when I say it's based on the businesses, I truly, truly believe that we will have a level of businesses that will surpass anyone's expectation, because we're not only asking for people to list their business, we're asking for people to suggest their favorite businesses, and we're actually educating people and giving them the empowerment to become a business. So the value of Rhino Coins is based on transactions, but the transactions are based on users and businesses. So if our business list is really, really high, well, then the users are going to get a lot of search results, which means they come to the platform. And conversely, the people that are search results, how are they going to recommend people find them? Hey, your company, where do I find it? Yeah, search ice cream on Rhino Street. I'm right there. Meaning those businesses then become conduits. They become our cheerleaders. They become the people that then share with other people to come on the platform. I just got dizzy. Okay. Justin, big ideas like this don't happen overnight, but distributed marketing is definitely going to be a new way to market products. I love the concept, and anyone who can see the impact it will have on our communities will love it too. You're so right. Like, who wouldn't want to support their community? Yeah, Justin, I agree. I find that people in the privacy of their own home do things differently than they say, but everyone uses a search result in the privacy of their own home. All we're We are simply saying by switching the toothpaste, by instead of using Crest, using Trident, this is the world you open up. You do not have to do anything differently. You do not have to do anything differently. You don't have to say, well, okay, on Sundays, I'll go to church. We don't care what you do. Well, we care, right? That's wrong. But we're not, the hurdle for Rhino Street being successful is people clicking Rhino Street first. They could go to Google, just simply look at Rhino Street first. That's it. That's it. And the whole world we're talking about is at your fingertips, and it's possible by simply just clicking Rhino Street first. I think that's possible. And I think we're going to do it. Can I suggest a company out of hand, or do I go to the business first and recommend to them? So Fatima, great question. When the new Rhino Street is done, which will be today, you will see on the bottom right-hand side, suggest a business. That is a form. You will fill out your name, and then you'll fill out the information on the business, like the business owner's name, the business name, the zip code, the website, and the email for the business owner. And I think we asked for phone number too, but if you don't have it, like 000, whatever, right? In which case, once we receive that form, I then call the business or email the business and say, hey, Fatima recommended you to Rhino Street. Rhino Street is a new search engine that is only available to the 20-mile radius of users, meaning anyone that ever searches you on Rhino Street will be within 20 miles of you and is actively looking to support local community. Would you allow us to put you on? I kind of think 100% will say yes. So just to let you know, there always is a manual process with this that will be scaled in the future, but we are not allowing Wall Street companies on or like just various bots. There is a human element. And V, who is our Rhino concierge, when anyone ever has a question, actually has a human being that they could speak to, right? So we're doing everything in such a proper way that I'm completely overwhelmed. But as you can see, well, you can't see, things are moving. So that is that. I'm at 3:30, which makes me a big fat liar in terms of timing, but I can't wait to have this recorded. Well, it is recording, but to send out the replay. So I love everyone, and I'll see you next Wednesday, where I'll have even more for you. But this is going to be the last time I'm going to talk about the coin in such a public fashion. You might get an email or two like, hey, the coin's going up, but this isn't like, I'm not a salesman. I'm just really trying my best to share with you. So I love everyone, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye. Everyone loves me. Bye, guys.